Hi, this is Pim from Smart Diabetics Academy, and today I'm going to talk you through what you need to do and think of if you have a bread addiction and you can't quit eating bread. So in this video, I will talk about food cravings, where they come from and what you can do about them. So let's just dive in at the deep end and have a look at cravings in general. So, according to Google, a craving is a powerful desire for something, and I'm not quite sure I like this definition, but that is what they tell me that it is, so let's work with that. So, when we think about a powerful desire for something, we generally think that it's totally out of our control, and that we are powerless. So, when we think that a craving is just something that happens to us and that they just appear out of nowhere, that's not true. So I'm going to use bread as an example here, but you can literally use anything that you have cravings for and just substitute that for bread, because it works the same way, no matter what it is. So whenever we have a look at bread, and I'm looking at this bread here and I'm going to have a thought about it. Okay. When I have a thought about it, I will assign it a meaning. So that can be something like, that looks really good, or I want that, or I love fresh bread, and so on. And then you will have a craving because of what you were thinking. So if I think that I want that, I love fresh bread, that looks really good, of course I'm going to have a craving. That's kind of a given when you're thinking that way. So that craving, excuse me, creates an urge for you to go and eat this bread. So now when you know this, you will realize that actually you do have control over the situation, right? And when you have control of over the situation, you can choose what to do. You can choose not to eat that bread. So I'm talking about you now as a rational human being, the one that is in control, the one that will make decisions for you that are good for you, and not just what feels good in the moment. So when you think about that craving that just happened to you and that you are out of control, of course you're gonna never be able to quit if that's how you're thinking about it. If you're out of control, that's exactly what it means, that you have no control. So now when you know that you can actually be in control of your cravings, do you really want to change what you eat or the way that you eat to feel better? That's a very important question, because a lot of the time we don't really want to do this. We say that we want it, but we don't actually want it. Okay? Because at the end of the day, you have to decide for yourself. No one else can decide for you, because that never works. So if you decide that you want to stop eating bread, you need to change the way that you think about bread. It is as simple as that, kind of. And it's actually really, really easy to change the way that you are thinking about bread or the thoughts that you have about a particular food. So if you imagine a fresh loaf of bread, or just freshly sliced hot bread that with melted butter on or whatever, and it looks delicious, and you can just smell this, and everything about it is just telling you that this is great and I need to eat it. So if someone then walks past this bread, looks at it and sneezes at it, in an instant, you no longer crave that particular bread, do you? You're going to be very put off. You're going to probably be disgusted by it, because now you're thinking about it differently, and all of a sudden it's not anything that you want anymore. Your thoughts about this piece of bread have changed, because you don't want to eat bread covered in someone else's snot or whatever. That's kind of gross. So if you want to reduce your cravings for bread, the first thing you need to do is to break the habit of eating bread. and abstain from it from a period of time. And I'm saying this because while you're in the habit of doing it, it's really hard to also start thinking differently about it. So when you do this, your brain will, or it doesn't necessarily do that on its own, but it can go off on its own, and it will start thinking about other things that you can have instead of bread. So it might think that, or you used to think that bread is something that you need to have on a daily basis, otherwise you're gonna starve. But as soon as you go off of bread, your brain is gonna have to find other solutions. So you're forcing your brain to think differently. Now you know that you're not gonna have to have bread every day, because you just disproved that. You didn't have bread today, you're not dead, so clearly you can live without having bread on any single day. So your brain is going to start looking for other solutions, and it's going to start looking at other options, and these options and solutions might be much better for you. They might serve you a lot better. So most people can do this for a while. Just, okay, yeah, I'm not going to have bread for a day, for a week, whatever it is. Most people can do that. It's not a huge problem. The problem is staying off of bread forever, if that's what you want to do. But what almost no one is doing is that they take the time to understand what their thoughts are about bread, or that food that they're not having, and why it's so important to them. So for me, this has always been the case with sweet things, for example, and my thoughts around it would always have been something along the lines of, that tastes really good, or that it's great and it's the treat and I've been so good, I really deserve something sweet. Or here's a good one. This one's terrible, but I don't have any other downfalls. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything, so a bit of sugar isn't so bad. I used to think that way. And if I'm thinking that way, I like the taste of sugar, I'm addicted to sugar, I think it's not so bad because it's the only thing I'm doing that is not good for me. Am I going to be able to quit? I mean, of course not. Anyone can figure that out. If that's what I'm thinking about sugar, I'm not going to be able to quit. So if we're going back to bread, we can think about that as something that is not beneficial to your body. If you have a continuous glucose meter, you can see the effect on your blood sugar almost instantly after you have eaten a piece of bread. So you can see that your blood sugar just like shoots up straight away every time you eat bread, and then it might even be hard to stabilize your blood sugar after that. It might even take you a day or two to get back to baseline. Some people are that sensitive to bread. And meanwhile, the high blood sugar is doing some serious damage while it's up there. The high blood sugar is also running, you have to imagine that it's running through every single organ in your body. So every single organ, every single tissue, all of your body is being exposed to this every time you eat bread, and it can cause some serious damage there. It will cause inflammation, it will cause damage, etc. to all those cells in those organs. So every time you have a piece of bread, you're doing yourself a disservice. So every time you eat a piece of bread, you're doing this. How can you instead give your body something that will help it heal rather than make things worse? So bread is just one of those processed foods that have been designed pretty much to make us want more. But what it is water, it's yeast, salt, and flour. And then sometimes they add some oil or something else that isn't great for you. Why would you need that? If you just think about the ingredients, water, yeah, you can drink water. Most people don't even like to drink water. Yeast, you wouldn't eat yeast. Flour, who eats just flour? No one does. And then some salt. That's all it is. And then we just make it into this delicious thing that we desire. But why do you need that? Can you find some new thoughts about bread that makes your desire go away, maybe? So here's the tricky part. Often we don't want to give up our desire for whatever food it is. We want to keep that desire. So if you're someone who says, I don't want to give up bread because I love it, you probably don't want to give up bread. You don't want to give up that desire, and you have to ask yourself why. So here's a question I want you to ask yourself if that's you. If there is something that could give you more, or something that you would love more than bread, would you be prepared to give up bread? If something could give you the same pleasure, the same enjoyment. Because as long as you think that bread is amazing and it gives you so much pleasure, you will believe that if you remove bread, you will miss out on something. You will miss out on having this pleasure. So you're going to be at a loss from removing bread from your life. But if there was something that you love just as much or more, and that gives you the same pleasure or more, could you replace that and still be satisfied? So let's play with that thought a little bit. So let's just imagine that there is a different kind of desire that gives you pleasure in life. One that isn't harming you. So there are, for certain, some of those pleasures in life. I can guarantee you that. But we don't always see them, right? So these could be things that you truly love doing. And you love, it's like you're being in your element when you're doing them. And it just feels right. When you are in that sort of headspace and in that moment, you're probably not going to be thinking about bread because you're doing something else that makes you feel really good. Sometimes we don't know what that is. Sometimes we have to dig quite deep inside to find out what our true desires are, because we have spent so many years just thinking about the most logical choice of vocation, for example. What's the best choice for us in the future? How do we make our future secure? Or maybe we have been told that what we should want out of life. And then we have suppressed those feelings and those desires for many, many years. And it's going to be hard to dig that up, but they're in there somewhere. So if you're sitting here and you're thinking to yourself that you have no idea what you truly desire, take some time to really think about this and ask yourself what you truly want in life. And there are many ways of doing this, but one exercise that many coaches use is, I don't know if it has a name, but usually say go 7 layers deep. So you ask yourself, what do I want? You come up with an answer, and then you say, why do I want that? And then you justify why you want that, and then you say again, why do you want that, etc. And you go 7 layers deep. When you go that deep, you might be able to find out what it is that you truly want, what it is that is fueling that fire inside of you and kind of gets you excited about life. Because when you don't know that, and bread feels good, you're gonna want to stick to bread, right? So if you do this and you find out, I can promise you that that desire is going to be a lot stronger than your desire for bread. And bread will probably most likely, the desire for bread is probably most likely going to be incompatible with that other desire, right? So if, for example, you say, or we say that you always wanted to go scuba diving with the dolphins somewhere, and your diabetes is making it pretty much impossible for you to get clearance to do so. So wouldn't it be worth giving up bread so that you can start reversing your diabetes, and then eventually you'll be able to go and scuba dive with the dolphins? If that was a given, you give up bread, you're gonna get to go scuba diving with dolphins. Is it worth it? I think it is. But that is a reward in the future, whereas bread is something that makes you feel good right now. And that's where we need some cravings management. So, what would you say? Isn't it more important to make this dream happen than enjoy a few minutes of pleasure? Because when you're eating bread, it's only really pleasurable at the moment when you're actually eating it, and then poof, gone. It's nothing that lasts, and you have to keep doing it to get this dopamine hit and get that pleasure coming back over and over again. So once you have figured out something that you are really passionate about, something that you are really want, whenever you have a craving for bread, you can recognize that it's not something that will help you move towards your goal. Because it isn't. It's just a moment of pleasure right there, right then, and then you will have to deal with the consequences of eating bread, which probably gives you a lot of mispleasure, a lot of grief, yeah, rather than joy. Because when you are taking small steps and move towards your goal, you're getting closer to fulfilling whatever it is that you want to do, to your true desire, and you can enjoy every single step of the way because you can see how you're getting closer to where you want to go. And when you realize that the cravings that you had wasn't even anything else than pretty much mind drama, the drama in your head, you should be eating this, yes, it tastes so good, and so on. Bread and bread craving, you're going to realize that bread and bread cravings are pretty much a waste of your time, because you could spend that time focusing on what truly matters in your life. Something that will make a difference for you. No matter the amount of bread that you're going to eat in a lifetime is going to be able to make you feel truly happy and truly satisfied with your life. But maybe scuba diving with the dolphins might help you do that. So once you have some sort of control of the cravings, when you don't have as many cravings, if you have managed to cut out bread for a period of time and the cravings are going down, what you will realize is that you will have so much more space to think, so much more focus, that you can spend doing the things that you like doing, or work towards your ultimate goal. So right now I understand that it might feel or seem a little bit hard to grasp that you could do this, but when you remove the constant thinking about foods, you have more time to think about what you really want and how to get it. I don't even know how many percent of my thoughts were taken up by food in the past. There's still some of that going on, but it used to be constant. No matter what I was doing, I thought there was something wrong with me because I could never focus on any one task for more than 5 minutes, and then I would have this urge to go up and look in the cupboard in the kitchen because I was thinking about food. And that is very, very disruptive. I didn't get anything done. I didn't get to think about the things that I want to achieve in life. I didn't get to take any steps towards them because I never had time to do so. But when you can use that time to focus on the things that are important and be present with the things that you actually enjoy doing in real life, not just up here thinking about food, things that are good for you, your whole life can change. I mean, I don't have words to describe it, but you will up-level your whole life and you will have a totally different experience of life, which is super cool. So the first thing that you need to do is literally just give yourself some space to think clearly by removing the bread from your life. If you just want to do this for a week, that's fine, but you need to start somewhere, okay? If you want to start with cutting down, etc., you can do that, but that's going to be harder. And then you need to sit down and you need to have a good think about what you truly desire in life and see what's more important to you, so that you can decide. I want you to be in a space where you have really thought this through. So if you choose to go and eat bread, that's your decision, but that is the decision from your rational part of your mind. But since you're here actually watching this video, I suspect that you actually want to get rid of that habit of eating bread. Okay? And if you need more help with this, I can help you, and you can find my contact details down in the description of this video. So just drop me an email and we can have a chat about how I can help you. But that is a good start. So just start cutting the bread out, have a think about what it is that is really important in your life. So thank you so much for watching this video, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel and press the little bell icon down there so that you will get notified whenever I post a new video. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!